read this afterwards. But I'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vic Agarwal. I'm the CEO of EdifyOnline, and I'll be the moderator today. But it's an honor and privilege to welcome you, Dr. Mithalji, the AIU Secretary General, in June in Washington, D.C. at the Visioning Workshop 2022, hosted by the U.S. Ambassador, Dr. Taranjeet Singh Sandhu. Dr. Mithal announced her intent and support to work with the Indian diaspora, including the likes of Dr. Karbari and Mr. Agarwal, who could bring ideas and services to support NEP 2020's vision, specifically towards the internalization of higher education, for which today's webinar is a result of. So thank you to the AIU's Joint Director of Research, Dr. Aminder Pani, for believing strongly in the interconnectedness between Indian and international academic talent. Thanks also to the Assistant Director of Research, Dr. Usha Ray Negi, who worked tirelessly to bring this together. And finally, thanks to all the respected vice chancellors, deans, department heads, faculty, professors, and academics who made the time to attend today. So just briefly, agenda of today's webinar. I'll introduce individually each speaker to speak for about 5 minutes, and then we'll open the floor for Q&A. But just overall, the partnership of the AIU and EdifyOnline, it aims to facilitate the implementation of the NEP 2020 policy. The UGC guidelines support this initiative with several sub-themes, but in interest of today's time, we'll touch on only a few of these. And today's panelists will share their insights on these, and then we'll transition into the Q&A. So I guess without further delay, I'd like to welcome Dr. Mithal, the AIU Secretary General, to say a few opening remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. A very warm welcome to all of you. And thanks to EdifyOnline, especially Professor Agarwal, for hosting this webinar for all the Indian counterparts. And I'm sure people will be benefiting a lot because internationalization is something which everybody is looking forward to. And the national education policy of India, which has come after 34 years, I feel this is the first time that a lot of emphasis has been given to internationalization of higher education. For example, for a long time, there were bills pending in the Parliament of India regarding establishment and operation of foreign universities in India, but it was not coming through. But then again, for the first time in the NEP, it has been mentioned that top 100 universities of the world can come and set up their campuses in India. And the University Grants Commission is very shortly going to come out with a regulation, which I'm sure will be a very, very enabling regulation to encourage the foreign universities to come to India. Similarly, the Indian universities are encouraged to go abroad and set up their campuses in the foreign countries. And again, one thing which was, again, we were looking forward to, that was a joint degrees, dual degrees, twinning programs, again, which promote internationalization to a great extent. But again, they were not permitted so far. But with this education policy, the joint degrees and dual degrees with the foreign counterparts are approved. And that not only approved, but it has been made so easy that if a university is eligible, I mean, from Indian side, we call it 300 and 1000, means if it has a NAC rating of 3 or is in the NIRF ranking, that is Indian ranking of 100, or in the world ranking of 1000, they are eligible for collaboration. And similarly, at the other side, in the foreign side, if it is in the top 1000 of the world ranking, it is eligible to collaborate. And then they can have joint degrees, twinning programs, dual degrees without any approval required from any agency. Earlier, it was that get these programs or collaborations approved from, say, UGC or the government, but no such embargo is there right now. This is a very, very welcome step. And then again, the credit transfer from Indian universities to foreign universities is allowed. A very, very innovative scheme of academic bank of credit has been launched, where the students are having the freedom to learn from anywhere, anytime, any country, or any mode. Then also, lastly, as far as NEP is concerned and internationalization is concerned, a lot of importance has been given to International Students Office. Now, in India, you know that India is a very vast country and a very diverse country. So not many universities have International Students Office. So the NEP says that every university which is at least wanting to host the international students should be having a International Students Office. And if you are not aware, you should be knowing that right now the international students in India is very low as compared to the students who go out of India. For example, at present, the number of international students who come to India is around 49,000, that too mostly from the neighboring countries like Nepal, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, African countries. But the number of students who go out of India to study in foreign countries is something like 1 million. And these 1 million students who are studying abroad, they are spending something like the entire education budget of India on their fee when they go and study abroad. So we do feel that when the foreign universities are in India, much of the foreign reserve will be saved, and at the same time, the quality of education in India will improve because there will be a lot of opportunities for collaborations between foreign universities and Indian universities on the Indian soil. So that is one. But I will also like to briefly share with you that what is AIU doing with regard to internationalization of higher education. You all know that AIU is a association of right now, I mean, the largest association in the world with around 913 universities as the member university. So by any standard, this is the largest, even larger than the IAU, which is an international association. So this is an Indian association, 913 members. And we do engage with the universities in the areas of academics, research, equivalence of foreign degrees with the Indian degrees, sports, culture, everything. And we engage not only with the vice chancellors, but also with the faculty as well as the students. So in with regard to internationalization of higher education, what we have done is we are establishing a network called INHI, that is Indian Network of International Higher Educators. And why we are establishing this is, as I told you, India is a diverse country. So there are some universities who are very good in internationalization. They are having most of the foreign, I mean, some universities are having 3,000 foreign students, but there are universities who are not at all good in internationalization, but they have an intent to do it. They want to do internationalization, but they don't know how to start, how to go about it, whom to talk to, whom to collaborate with. So we are making an Indian network of international higher educators, which will help the universities to do hand holding. I mean, we will do a hand holding, and the universities, because it will be a network, so each and every university will be hand holding the other university to improve internationalization as a whole in the whole country. That is one thing. Second thing is that many a times, like whenever we visit foreign countries, many a times this problem is posed in front of us, that the foreign universities don't come to know that which Indian university is good in which area. So what they have is a NAC rating, which tells them the overall score. They also have an NIRF ranking, because we don't have many Indian universities in the world ranking. We have only around 8 to 9 universities in top 500. So therefore, they rely upon the NAC rating and the NIRF. But again, both these ratings and rankings are not telling the subject area in which a university is good at. So what we did at AIU is that we have started a AIU collaboration portal, in which we tell our universities that indicate the areas or facilities or branches where you are good at and where you are looking for international partners. And when you indicate that this is my area where I am seeking collaboration, also give you this, the credentials in terms of, say, facilities in that particular area, the publications, the teachers with PhD, I mean, everything about that department, which establishes the credibility of that department. So many universities have already filled it on the AIU collaboration portal. So if you go there, you will see, and suppose you want to collaborate in any subject, say quantum physics. So if you write quantum physics on the AIU portal, down will come the list of universities who are good in quantum physics and who are ready to collaborate with you. So it makes it very, very easier. And lastly, at AIU, what we have also done is, because we are vested with the power of equivalence of foreign degrees with the Indian degrees, so under that, we are trying to make it easier to facilitate students who have won foreign degrees to come and study in India. So that we are, shifting from duration approach to the credit approach so that the equivalence is easier and more students can come and study in India. So these are some of the ways in which we are looking at internationalization, the way we are trying to promote internationalization, because we are very sure that internationalization does not mean only having foreign students in India or our students going abroad. Internationalization is much more than that. It includes collaborations, research collaborations, teaching collaborations, teacher exchange, student exchange, semester exchange, so many things. So we are working towards that direction. And this particular webinar, which we are holding today, is basically to guide the universities that how we can implement the UGC regulations, how we can implement the NEP with respect to internationalization, how we can promote internationalization, what the universities can do, what the teachers can do, what the vice chancellors can do, what the principals can do to promote internationalization. So this is something which AIU has collaborated with EdifyOnline, and if this is successful, we'll have many more such webinars so that we can reach out to masses, because India is a very large system with around 40 million students and 15 lakh teachers. So we really want to reach out to masses. So this is the first webinar of the series, but depending upon the success of this webinar and the demand from this sector, we will organize many more webinars. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And thanks to Edify for joining with AIU. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mittal. This is a very great introduction. So I'm going to transition into introducing our panelists. Our first panelist today is Dr. Meena Singh. And Dr. Meena Singh, I'm going to give you a brief introduction now. I'll let you take it away. But Dr. Singh is an expert in tech-based innovation and teaching pedagogy and curriculum design. She brings a wide-ranging international teaching and lecturing experience at the School of International Service at the American University in Washington, D.C., with experiences at Cambridge, Oxford, Yale, Cornell, and the Library of Congress. She will share insights on two particular sub-themes, including the internationalization at home and international curriculum.
Thank you, Vik Agarwal and Dr. Mittal. It was amazing to hear how much you covered within a few minutes, literally to show us what is the vision of the NEP, what the AIU is trying to do as an umbrella organization to mobilize all its members and to also show pathways where they not only learn from the umbrella organization, but also learn from each other. And surely collaboration is really what we need to do more and more of. I have been in classrooms both in India and overseas in the US for 9 years at US universities. I've also been at universities in France and the UK, and I have taught for 3 years in Israel. So I come with multiple experiences of being trained in pedagogies in India, and then unlearning, relearning, and innovating in both pedagogy and content creation. So in the process of my own learning in how internationalization can function, I have experienced a couple of things that I'm going to share. So as faculty, as I mentioned, I had to unlearn and relearn. And the best challenge for personal and professional growth was really to relearn. And I think this is one of the things that I have brought back, which is that I do believe very strongly in faculty reskilling, retraining. We all know our subject matter, but the way that we teach somehow becomes just stuck in certain ways. And I think that needs to be redone. The other aspect is student research and mentoring and publications, which is where I felt that things are a little bit in need of pulling up in India. Internationalization, however, I don't think is a blind imitation of any particular kind of education. And I think the best thing for us here in India and for collaborations with any country, any agency, is to look at the best fit, is to find the best practices which will work in contextual adoption of certain best practices. And so that's where I feel that our work here is really important, because while university collaborations and MOUs and twinning of degrees is great, however, we all know that it takes for years and years to do that. And very often after the enthusiasm of signing papers and doing 2 years of accelerated programs, there just aren't enough students all around because the student experience is something else. However, if there's a university that wants to bring in elements of internationalization, then a model like EdifyOnline provides an excellent way to experiment, to adopt internationalization within an existing framework without too much disruption in a very cost-effective way. What it does is it enables overseas faculty to come in virtually, offer courses in the areas which a university aspires to have, and then the faculty on the ground can gradually become catalysts for change as we go along. So I want to just mention here that for me, content and pedagogy are the two most important aspects of curriculum and syllabus design. The content of what we teach, if we are able to change that, make that more creative, more innovative, the quality of our education will definitely go up. The learning will go up and the learning outcomes will be that much better if our pedagogy is also more innovative. Those are the two areas that I have felt as faculty that they were areas that I felt my relearning while I was abroad were really, really helpful. Assessment is an important thing, but assessment is a much longer conversation. So I do want to say that content and pedagogy are both areas that can be upgraded in many ways, and creativity can be brought in by bringing in internationalization in terms of different models that are available. So when an overseas faculty comes in and collaborates with our own faculty, that's where content and pedagogy are both, they both get a lift through a certain synergy that emerges from that collaboration. So this is where I'm going to stop with any questions that there might be about curriculum design or syllabus design and pedagogy and how that can help. Thank you.
And to all the attendees out there, if you have any questions, please share them on the Q&A, and we'll aggregate those and share them with the panelists. But amongst the panelists, if there's any questions for Dr. Singh, please feel free to go ahead. And we'll also bring it back together to Q&A at the end, so I can probably transition to our next panelists, and we can, once everyone speaks, we can have a good Q&A session at the end. Our next panelist is Dr. Vistap Skarbari. Dr. Karbari is the former president of UTA Arlington, and he's a leader in higher education in the United States, focused on enhancing research innovation and transforming the knowledge enterprise, increasing collaborations and partnerships between academia and the corporate and nonprofit sectors, and also the government sector as well. He has been recognized for his leadership as a fellow of numerous international organizations, including the National Academy of Inventors, the European Academy of AAAS, and the European Academy of Arts and Sciences, and was named a fierce education leader in the US in 2021. Dr. Karbari will share his insights on three particular sub-themes: digital revolution, networking, and brand building.
Good evening, everyone, or rather good afternoon. And this is part of the digital revolution. We are able to connect across thousands of miles, which otherwise would not have been possible. And we need to look at internationalization, if you will, through that lens as well, that it's a lens that has been enabled with things that would not have been possible even 10 years ago. When we talk about the digital revolution, most often we think about data. We think about systems such as the CRM, the ERP, the SIS, the LMS, and their integration. We talk about the development of enterprise systems that link student enrollment to progress, analytics and courses, early warning systems, and finances. And that's very important. But today I want to talk about it from a slightly different perspective, the context of a student and the context of the faculty, which to me are the core of any university. We live in a digital world. one where technology and information is converging at an ever faster pace. Our students were born into it, and our young faculty are actually digital natives. Some of us with gray hair or with almost no hair, as Dr. Agarwal has, are basically digital immigrants. And